Hello and welcome to this episode of the Talent Optimization Minute. My name is Matt Pepsel. Today we're going to be talking about a presentation titled Feed Me. Now, if you go back in pop culture, you might remember Audrey II, Tui from Little Shop of Horrors, had this insatiable appetite. And this reminded me a lot of our employees today. They have an insatiable appetite for feedback. And so we're going to talk a little bit about feedback. In the talent optimization framework, of course, we've got many of the great activities and aptitudes in the middle. One of the aptitudes called Inspire has an activity called Develop Your Leaders. And one of the steps to develop your leaders is to give performance feedback within the business context. And what I love most about talent optimization, it is just loaded with business context from the strategy all the way to the results. And we can bring business context into that middle bit also when we talk about people practices. So let's take a look at some examples about how the time frame of the business can dictate what types of feedback we need to give. Now, if we start at the far right with business results, this are activities or metrics or results that have happened in the past, meaning that we have a specific result. We can't go back and change the result. It's not a forward-looking thing. So this is the domain of things like 360 reviews and performance ratings. There's different types of performance rating systems. Many of them have a lot of challenges, but this is the area where we would look at that. So as an example, in developing a leader, talking about the performance of the business results, and bringing those into the context of a 360 review of a performance rating, critically important. In the middle is kind of the here and now, the real time. That's why I always stack Hire and Inspire together. These are activities we do every day. Here we want real-time feedback. You think about pulling somebody aside, hopping on right in the moment of the action. That's the best time to provide the feedback. Don't wait a week or two. If you see something positive or something constructive that needs to be brought up, do it in real time. And consider giving something that Michael Alasso, a former actor turned speaking coach, he refers to as truthful, specific, and positive feedback, which is TSP. And so giving TSP would be fabulous. So for example, hey, I really like how in that brainstorming meeting you just led, you really got us to a position where we talked about solutions to this specific problem related to the business. Maybe we're late on shipments. You did a great job really teeing up the importance of late shipments and how they really are devastating to customer experience, whatever it might be. And then in terms of business strategy is always forward looking. We think about the next 12 to 18 months, for example. This is really the time when we're working with leaders to talk about career conversations. The business is evolving. Maybe we're in the middle of a digital transformation project. There's going to be future skills gaps. There's going to be future needs in the business. Maybe we need to update some processes. Whatever business context we bring in around the why we're making these changes, let's talk about career conversations and developmental opportunities for our leaders. So saying, for example, we're going to need to be able to communicate with our partners a little bit more real time. Maybe we need to share data and be more transparent with them in the future. So how might you bring that into your current skill set? What are some opportunities to practice safely being more transparent and sharing information or using tools we have in place for collaboration? Those might be things that make their way into a career conversation. These were obviously very crappy examples, but you kind of see what I'm saying here when we start talking about the time frame of business results, of the here and now people practices, or business strategy, can all be brought in with business context, so we provide the right type of feedback and the right context for that feedback. Here's a bonus for you. If you have leaders who are struggling to provide feedback, or if you yourself want to up your game in that area, I highly recommend the book Radical Candor by Kim Scott. It's fabulous. And it's a very common read. And this is a common thing that you could use in a book club, or you can just recommend it to your aspiring leaders if they need to get better at feedback. And we all could get better. So if you haven't checked it out lately, give a refresh, or if you haven't seen it before, I encourage you to check it out. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for your attention. As always, if you have any questions about this or any other talent optimization topics, you can always find me on LinkedIn. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.